Hello there, friend. Can I ask you something personal? Have you noticed that the calendar seems to flip faster than it used to, and sometimes the days feel a little quieter than you'd like? Maybe the phone doesn't ring as often, or the conversations at the dinner table circle back to the same old memories. If any of that sounds familiar, you're in good company. Growing older brings extraordinary freedom, yet it can also sneak in an unwelcome guest: routine. And routine, left unchecked, can let our minds drift into autopilot and our social circles shrink. That's why today we're opening the door to 6 enjoyable hobbies that keep the brain buzzing and the heart tuned to the lively rhythm of community. We'll explore what they are, why they work, and, most importantly, how you can slip them into your own life with a smile rather than a struggle. Now, before we dive in, a quick reassurance. None of these hobbies require marathon stamina, deep pockets, or the reflexes of a teenager. They're flexible, friendly, and proven to strengthen memory, sharpen focus, and invite new friends into the fold. Think of them as gentle resistance bands for the mind and ready-made icebreakers for conversation. With that picture in mind, let's step into the first one together. Picture a long table scattered with brightly colored tiles, each printed with a familiar letter. Around the table sit 4 neighbors. Some you know well, some you're just meeting. Each of you building words, blocking plays, and adding a dash of playful teasing when someone attempts cat without the cue. Yes, I'm talking about classic word-building board games. Scrabble, bananagrams, even digital cousins like Words with Friends turn vocabulary into a workout that doesn't feel like exercise. Neuroscientists will tell you that assembling words lights up regions of the brain tied to memory retrieval and strategic thinking. Psychologists will add that shared laughter over a misspelled onomatopoeia sparks social bonding chemicals like oxytocin. But here's the detail that matters most. Games like these give you a weekly, or even daily, reason to gather. No awkward small talk required. The game supplies the conversation starter. You supply the companionship. To make it happen, you could host Coffee and Tiles mornings at your kitchen table, join the Word Game Hour at your local library, or fire up the free app version and challenge a grandchild across the country. Within a week, you'll find yourself mentally sorting high-value letters, even while folding laundry, and that subtle mental rehearsal is precisely the kind of brain gym that keeps recall nimble. Speaking of nimble, let's pivot to a second hobby that slips past the brain's defenses by disguising itself as pure fun. Social dancing? Whether it's gentle line dancing at the community center or a beginner ballroom class at the senior recreation hall, coordinated movement to music is like a 3-tiered cake of cognitive benefits. First tier, rhythm, challenges the cerebellum and prefrontal cortex, areas responsible for balance and planning. Second tier, learning a sequence, say the 8-count basic step of the foxtrot, requires short-term memory and pattern recognition, both skills that research shows can wane if we don't actively train them. Third tier, every dance is a partnership, so you're automatically paired or grouped with others, eliminating any "I don't know anyone" barrier. There's also that delightful surge of dopamine when the beat drops and your feet do exactly what you ask them to do. If you're worried about bad knees or unsure footing, start with seated dance fit videos on YouTube, or slower rhythmic styles like Tai Chi-inspired movement to music. Gradual progression is key. Once confidence builds, the sound of familiar songs will cue your body forward, and your Friday nights may gain a sparkle you haven't felt since the high school sock hop. We've shared words across a board and steps across a floor, and by now you may feel a gentle hum of possibility. Stay with that feeling, because it's the perfect bridge to what comes next. A hobby that invites both quiet focus and lively community all at once. Because the moment you sit down with a lump of clay spinning softly beneath your fingertips, you discover a conversation that needs no words at all. Pottery. Yes, the wonderfully messy art of shaping bowls, mugs, and little garden gnomes draws on a blend of tactile sensation, problem-solving, and creative imagination that researchers say lights up both hemispheres of the brain like a string of holiday lights. As the wheel turns, your hands must continuously negotiate moisture, pressure, symmetry, and timing. That dance between muscle memory and real-time adjustment strengthens fine motor control and stimulates the same neural circuits used for handwriting and everyday tool use. Even better, Pottery studios tend to be communal by design. Shared kilns, shared glazes, shared tales of pieces that collapsed just before firing. It's impossible to feel isolated when someone nearby is cheering your first successful cylinder or offering you a dab of cobalt blue because it pairs beautifully with that soft white you chose. If getting to a studio feels daunting, start smaller with air-dry clay right at the kitchen table. Invite a neighbor for an afternoon clay and tea session, and you'll both discover that accidental fingerprints in the surface become happy reminders that perfection isn't the goal, presence is. From the earthy scent of wet clay, let's lift our gaze to something that grows green, blooms bright, and rewards patience with color. Community gardening. Tending a small plot, or even a raised container, has long been praised for its physical perks, but the cognitive benefits are equally striking. Planning which herbs thrive in partial shade or scheduling watering cycles exercises executive functions such as sequencing and attention shifting. Meanwhile, identifying pests versus beneficial insects taps into visual memory and pattern recognition. Sprinkle in casual chats over the tomato beds. Did your basil bolt yet? Have you tried mulching with coffee grounds? And you've got a social network rooted in shared purpose. If kneeling is tough, opt for waist-high planters or vertical gardens. Modern kits make setup surprisingly easy. Some senior centers now host indoor hydroponic towers where lettuce and strawberries sprout under LED glow, giving apartment dwellers a chance to join the Green Brigade without hauling soil bags. Over time, each harvest becomes a mini celebration, reinforcing a powerful feedback loop: effort, visible growth, tangible reward. That loop is catnip for the hippocampus, the brain's memory librarian, which thrives on activities that connect actions with outcomes. Of course, not every day beckons us outdoors, and that's where our next hobby shines. A pursuit that transforms quiet evenings into journeys across continents. Language learning circles, picking up conversational Spanish, brushing off high school French, or diving into American Sign Language provides perhaps the most comprehensive workout the mature brain can get. New vocabulary builds dendritic connections. Grammar flexes working memory, and pronunciation drills engage auditory processing in ways regular conversation no longer challenges. Crucially, language classes aimed at adults often weave culture, music, and food into each lesson, so the social element becomes inseparable from the cognitive task. Imagine tasting homemade empanadas while practicing how to compliment the chef in Espanol, or laughing with classmates as you master the expressive facial cues of ASL. Technology lowers the entry bar further. Free mobile apps, video chat exchange partners, and senior-friendly online courses mean you can greet a tutor in Bogota or Paris without leaving your recliner. Start with 10 minutes a day. Consistency trumps intensity. Soon your brain begins to anticipate the daily mental stretch the way muscles crave a morning walk, and that anticipation itself fuels neuroplasticity. As we glide from molding clay to sowing seeds to shaping sentences in a new tongue, a pattern emerges. Each hobby gently nudges the mind to adapt, respond, and connect. That adaptation is the secret sauce of staying mentally nimble. And speaking of patterns, there's another craft, one stitched together from loops of yarn and circles of conversation, that continues the rhythm without missing a beat. Because the simple act of looping yarn through your fingers can spin something far richer than a scarf. It weaves a steady rhythm that soothes the mind while it exercises pattern recognition and hand-eye coordination. Whether you choose knitting, crochet, or the modern hybrid called looming, the motion is meditative yet mentally alert. Counting stitches, tracking rows, and visualizing texture keep your working memory humming along like a well-oiled sewing machine. Studies even show that repetitive fiber arts can lower blood pressure and decrease cortisol, the stress hormone tied to brain fog. But the magic truly unfolds when needles click in chorus with friendly chatter. Many libraries and senior centers host weekly stitch and chat circles where newcomers learn the basics beside lifelong knitters who love to mentor. One woman's dropped stitch becomes another's opportunity to lend a guiding hand. And in that exchange, new bonds knit themselves as tightly as any cable pattern. If arthritis makes thin needles tricky, switch to chunkier hooks and softer, bulky yarns. They require less tension and finish projects faster, delivering that satisfying, "I made this" boost without straining joints. And speaking of satisfaction, gifting a handmade lap blanket to a local chemo ward or a tiny hat to a newborn nursery adds a layer of purpose that turbocharges the brain's reward circuits. By now, we've traveled from word tiles to dance floors, pottery wheels to garden beds, language labs to cozy circles of yarn. Each hobby invites your mind to stretch in a fresh direction while drawing your heart closer to others, proving that staying sharp and staying social are two sides of the same beautiful coin. Let's keep that coin flipping in the air a moment longer, because the final hobby on our list doesn't involve tools or tiles at all. It involves stories, imagination, and a bit of playful courage, and it's ready to carry us forward without missing a step. Because the moment you step into a circle of chairs, inhale, and let a single spontaneous sentence tumble out. "A purple elephant just stole my sandwich." You have entered the joyful world of storytelling improv. No scripts, no pressure to be funny enough, just a playful agreement to build a scene together, one line at a time. Improvisational theater classes designed for older adults focus less on punchlines and more on quick thinking, active listening, and unconditional support. When your partner declares, "Well, let's follow that elephant to the moon," your brain leaps to connect ideas, filling narrative gaps on the fly. That leap strengthens cognitive flexibility, the ability to switch between concepts and adapt to the unexpected, an ability researchers link directly to reduced risk of age-related cognitive decline. Improv also sharpens social radar. The basic rule of yes and trains you to accept another person's idea and add to it, fostering empathy and positive rapport. Laughter, of course, is inevitable. Because the moment you step into a circle of chairs, inhale, and let a single spontaneous sentence tumble out. "A purple elephant just stole my sandwich." You have entered the joyful world of storytelling improv. No scripts, no pressure to be funny enough, just a playful agreement to build a scene together, one line at a time. Improvisational theater classes designed for older adults focus less on punchlines and more on quick thinking, active listening, and unconditional support. When your partner declares, "Well, let's follow that elephant to the moon," your brain leaps to connect ideas, filling narrative gaps on the fly. That leap strengthens cognitive flexibility, the ability to switch between concepts and adapt to the unexpected, an ability researchers link directly to reduced risk of age-related cognitive decline. Improv also sharpens social radar. The basic rule of yes and trains you to accept another person's idea and add to it, fostering empathy and positive rapport. Laughter, of course, is inevitable. Even a gentle chuckle releases endorphins that dial down stress and prime the hippocampus for better memory storage. If standing feels daunting, many games can be played seated, passing an invisible object around, creating a group story one word at a time, or miming daily tasks with exaggerated flair. Online improv circles now meet over video chat too, turning your living room into a stage shared with new friends from across the country. All you need is curiosity and the willingness to be delightfully ridiculous for a few minutes. Now pause for a heartbeat and notice what we've built together. Word games exercised vocabulary and strategy, social dancing synced body and rhythm, pottery paired tactile focus with creative flow, gardening rooted, planning in living color, language learning expanded neural pathways through culture, fiber arts stitched calm into coordination, and improv sparked agile thinking wrapped in laughter. 7 doors. Yes, we ended up with a bonus one because life is generous that way. Standing wide open, each offering its own invitation to stay mentally lithe and socially connected. You might be wondering, do I need to try them all? Absolutely not. Think of these hobbies as a buffet. Start with a single spoonful of the dish that looks most appetizing. Maybe that's planting a basil seed on the windowsill or downloading a free language app. The key is to weave it into your routine until it feels less like an activity and more like a refreshing pause in the day, the same way you'd savor a mid-afternoon cup of tea. Once that habit has traction, sample another flavor. Over time, variety itself becomes a safeguard. Rotating hobbies challenges different brain regions, much like cross-training protects athletes from overuse injuries. If barriers pop up, mobility issues, tight budget, shyness, treat them as puzzles rather than stop signs. A public library card unlocks board games, craft kits, language software, and even free seed packets. Many community centers offer sliding scale class fees, and countless tutorials live online at no cost. As for shyness, remember that every group you join is full of people who once walked in for the first time, palms a bit sweaty, hoping someone would say hello. You can be that hello for the next newcomer. Let's seal this conversation with a gentle challenge. Choose one hobby from our list and schedule it, right now, in your calendar for the coming week. Jot down the time, the place, and, if possible, the name of a friend you'll invite along. Treat that appointment with the same respect you'd give a doctor's visit, because nurturing your cognitive and social health is preventive care of the highest order. After you've tried it, come back here and share how it went in the comments. Your story could be the nudge another viewer needs to take their own first step. And while you're down there, tap the like button if today's chat sparked an idea, and hit subscribe so you'll never miss the next friendly nudge toward living vibrantly at any age. We're building a circle of wisdom seekers here on Wise and Well, and your voice makes it stronger. Remember, staying sharp and connected isn't about fighting against age. It's about dancing with it, molding it, planting it, knitting it, speaking it, and yes, occasionally laughing at purple elephant sandwiches on the moon. Your best chapters are still being written, and the pen is right there in your hand. Here's to curiosity that never retires, friendships that keep blossoming, and a brain that sparkles brighter with every new adventure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep living your wonderfully wise and well life.